How's everybody doing? See, we've got some starting to come in. This is a continuation of my live from earlier today. I am making a carving knife. And I started with a knife like this. And you can see all they do is drill a hole and jam this metal part in. So what I did is I broke that off and I have epoxied it in between some resin with a piece of wood in the middle. And it actually has a cap. And I'm thinking about putting another thin layer of wood in here because it's just a little bit shy. I was kind of worried about that, but I'm thinking I'd like to have another thin piece of wood in there anyway. So I'm just going to start sanding this. I was thinking about putting it on the lathe and turning it round, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Like, that would be tricky because I don't have... No, I'm not going to do that. That's not going to work. I don't have enough material for that. All right, so let's get our little platform here. Tommy is in a piece of brass. I could do that. I actually have some brass. I don't know if I have thin pieces. I don't really have a way to melt it down and pour it. I could go buy some, I guess. Fishing Dude is in. Viking is in. Zoe Carnes is in. Thanks for stopping in, everybody. Mostly, all we're going to do is sand. I'm just going to try to sand this down to something. That actually goes pretty quick. And I'm going to turn on my air cleaner. This is not going in there very tight. Oh, these are tight, loosely on. Oh, all right. Yes. Yes, Tommy, this is a lathe. Um, Typically I do wood turning on this channel, but we're just doing some woodworking, and I've got my Jacob's chuck and a sanding pad on the lathe. Sierra, or yeah, Kay. I don't know if I can use your name or not. I finally did a nighttime live stream that you can watch. Oh, Kylie, you did put your name in. Hi, Kylie. I am making a knife, a little pocket knife that has a cover instead of a flip. I used to have one of these when I was a kid. Hey, Todd, check out this. This is the same blank that you sent. I love how it's like two-toned. But I used to have a knife like this, and it was my dad's fishing knife. And you take the top off, and it had it was like half and half, because fishing knives you want longer and really thin blade. And since it's a thin blade, you can put it in like stiff leather or a hard shell like this, so it wouldn't bend the blade. So I think this is gonna work pretty nice. There's a little bit of friction there to hold it on. It's a wood, like a whittling blade. So I need to make sure it's fits in my hand good. I'm gonna take these corners off. It's gonna be like kind of a pen shape maybe. I may have to put a little piece of wood. I don't know if I'll be able to do that, to hold it from turning this way. But I am going to put wood in. I'm going to glue a piece of wood on here and on here to kind of take up that gap and give it another ribbon across. But I like that. I think it's going to look really cool. All right, Mike's in, Johnny's in, Kylie's in, JLRC Wolf is in. ¿Cómo se hace una puerta de I don't know, something about in the house. I used to speak Spanish, Wolf, and I have forgotten more. All right, let's do some more sanding. Who else is? Did I miss anybody? Yeah. All right, everybody in the chat right now, go to Todd LeGinnis channel. It is LJ Woodworks, but he is in the chat. Todd, can you put a link to your channel? If you could do that, I would appreciate it. Todd sent me this blank, and he sent me this blank to use, and we may be doing the same thing if this turns out. But yeah, put a link to your channel, Todd. Check out Todd's channel. He does some amazing wood turning. Amazing. right, that was 80 grit, and that was the shaping. So now we're going to go down to 180 grit. And I don't think I'm going to use the 3-inch. I'm going to switch to the smaller pad with the foam and just do it by hand. This is going pretty good. I actually thought it would take a lot longer. Guys, I am so organized. I've never been so organized, even in disarray. I've got all of my sanding grits all in tubs. I've got all my pencils lined up. I made wood baskets for them. All my tools mounted. I've got this nice monitor on this really cool monitor bracket with the computer mounted back there. So I can look up from Woodturning and see the chat. That is so nice. And that's the shop tour right there. And there's my wife's car. So I can't get too crazy. All right. So let's do, 180 is already on it. We're gonna do some 180. Let's get my vacuum back up here. This is coming out pretty nice. Todd, when did you pour this? I'm just curious as to how much I can do sanding wise. Two weeks ago, perfect. Okay. All right, let's do. I go down to 240 grit. Now, you don't actually have to go through all the grits, but it would take a lot longer. If I went straight to 400 from 80, it would take a lot longer to get all of the sanding marks out. Plus, you do a little bit of fine tuning. That's gonna look cool. That's gonna look really nice. Pilato is in. How you doing? Oh, look at that. That's cool. You can see the knife tang. Come on. That is really neat. Even through this side. Oh, this is gonna be nice, Todd. I love it. All right, before I get too much further, I should put this wood in here before I forget. Because I will forget. I think what I'm gonna do is leave this, put the wood on this side, and then sand it to the contour of this side, because it's going to be hard. I can't really shape this side. So this is going to be how it is. I just need to fill in that little gap. Let me actually take this tape off. Maybe I won't need to. Yeah. Yep, I need it to stand about right there. So cool. We got a little bit of a gap. We're not going to be able to finish tonight. I could keep sanding on this side, but this side, once I glue a piece of wood on there, we'll be done with that for the night. All right, I had some scraps here. That'll work. So what is everyone up to tonight? besides hanging out here. Big dog is here. Thanks for stopping in. I know I'm probably not doing this right, but probably should have done it at a different time prior to this. But what are you going to do? All right, we're going to mix up a little bit of epoxy again. Just a tiny bit this time. Where's Rich? All right. Yeah, this wasn't very well thought through. But I will get it. I will. If not, we'll sand it off and do another one. That's how we roll. Okay. All right, we'll let that set up. And I am going to go to, what were we on? 40. Yeah, coping saw. I've got this cheap one in the back of my truck that has been on its way to dump. It was one that I had when I was a kid. Like, it's a Black & Decker for kids. But it kind of works. But it's very sloppy. It needs fixed. I was thinking about taking it all apart and remounting it in like a heavy wood, like build a heavy wood scroll saw. I'm going to slow way down. I'm going to go up to 320 grit, slow way down. So 320? Yeah, 320. And we're going to start working on the final. And this one, we're just taking out our marks. I'm not doing any shaping. Taking out our the scratches from the bigger grits. I did not make the blade. This is a wood carving blade, and it's not that sharp, so I purposefully picked the dullest one I had. This is actually one of these beginner sets that you get off Amazon. They're not bad. They fit in your hand pretty good, but I wanted to put it in a smaller holder and then also make a top for it. The top is over there being glued. So it'll like fit in your pocket with a cap, almost like a pen. But no, I'm not a metalworker. Never really wanted to do that. I guess I don't really have the facilities for that here. The room or the equipment. That's a whole nother level of hobby commitment. Ooh, this is getting really nice. I mean, you can get into wood turning and woodworking for probably, depending on where you get your tools, and I'm talking hobby level, not professional level, probably for under $1,000. Some people will argue with that, but especially wood turning, you need a lathe, some way to sharpen your tools, and some tools. Probably some saws wouldn't hurt, but you can do it all manually. Yeah, this feels pretty good. Carving, yeah, carving be a little bit easier. I'm going to save all these for when I do the top. Let's go to 400. Well, we're gonna jump to 600 and have to do it manually. I don't have the small discs. I thought I did, but I guess not. But that's fine. You know what? I think I'm gonna start wet sanding. It feels a little bit soft. And sometimes it does that just from the heat. Hand sanding won't be as bad, but using the machine was building up a little heat. So let me grab some water. It's not that sharp. I really need to sharpen it after this. And again, if you're just coming in, Todd LaGuinness of LJ Woodworks gave me this blank that I'm using. So make sure you check out his channel. He does some great wood turning. Much better than, well, different wood turning. He does a lot of segmented stuff. I don't have the patience or the tools for that. And I really respect people who do, because that is not easy to do. I like projects that take like an hour. This is a long project for me. That is like sanding really, really great. I need a rag. I can't get over how good this is working. Sometimes resin's difficult to work with. That is very nice. All right, let's jump to 1,000. gonna go straight to 1000 from here because it's looking so nice. Another reason I like to do wet sanding with resin is it just does not put it in the air. I don't like to breathe it. I don't like to wear masks and stuff, so if I can keep it from going into the air, then I keep from breathing it. I still don't think you can take this on an airplane, even though it has a really short knife, but anywhere else you can. Less than 4 inches, I think, is usually the rule. This is looking really good. I like to see where we're at dry, like dry it off to see if it's shiny yet or not. And it's amazing how shiny it can look wet, and then you dry it and it's pretty dull. You know, I was gonna go to 3000, but I think I'm going to try some abrasive paste and see what happens. Because abrasive paste, I think, is about this paste that I have that I made might be like 1100, 2000. I don't know. I really don't know. And then I don't know if I'm going to go to the micro mesh or buffing or both. Sometimes you don't have to do the micro mesh if you buff it. If I get it sanded good enough. It's funny, Todd. At work, we were talking about making knives, and I was like, I don't know. And one of the guys says, "Oh, you can get like knife parts anywhere and make the scales. A lot of people do that." And I said, "Yeah, I should look into that." And then I get home at lunch, and sure enough, there's my package of LJ Woodworks resin blanks. Man, that is looking nice. I love that you can see the tang. That is so cool. So nice. Surprised I went in like a knife or a pen. It was between a knife and a pen, and I don't have any pen kits. I am clean out of pen kits. But I was thinking, I've got, I mean, goodness. I don't do a lot of wood carving. And because of Amazon, I've advertised and used 3 or 4 different kits. So I have all of these different knives. This will probably be the next one I do. And all they do is just drill a hole. I don't know if you can see that. They just drill a hole. There, and jam it down in. So I've got 2 of those, same knife. So yeah, I might make some more. Be a nice little Christmas present, I think. Man, I really like the texture of this right now. We might be close to being done. Let's try some carnauba wax. I'm running out of rags. I ran out of paper towels today, so that's not gonna. And for carnauba, I just use Mother's car wax. I don't do anything fancy. Sometimes I have taken my sanding wheel with the Jacob's chuck and put the rag on it and waxed it like that. That works really good as a buffing wheel. But I have a set of buffing wheels. I have to find them. I think they're still in the basement. I was kind of surprised I did too, Todd. I guess I didn't really plan. I wasn't even going to do a live stream today, but usually if somebody says something like at work or something, I'm like, now I have to do it. It's in my head. All right, let's let that dry for a minute. So what do you guys do if something's stuck in your head? Like there's times at night where I just have to get up. It'll be 3 in the morning, and I'm like, I'm never gonna sleep until I at least try this, whatever it is. I gotta shut down my brain. Figure out how to shut it down. never stops. Nothing productive, just doesn't stop. So that's our top. I'm gluing some wood on it to fill the gap between the cap. It's gonna sit just like that. Slide right up in it. 5-minute epoxy is, I mean, it's set now, but there's no way I would do anything with that. All right. Yeah, yeah. I just like my brain will. I'll dream about how not to do it. It's funny the dreams I have. People dream about like going to school to take a test with no clothes on. I'm dreaming about messing up projects. This is looking pretty good. I don't know how much micro mesh would help on this. It's actually really nice. Good job with the blank, Todd. Like you must have mixed exactly right, or I don't know. I don't do a lot of epoxy because I didn't have this good of luck. But look at that. It's so shiny already. And I only went up to like 800. Well, and then abrasive paste and by weight. Okay. What brand is it? This is good stuff. Might as well advertise for them. Yeah, put the brand and type. I have no epoxy right now, so I may be tempted to buy this exact brand because this is very nice. Oh, Lumilite. Okay. Like the what is it? So it's not the crystal, the clear. Oh shoot, I've used Illuminate. I can't remember. I thought the one I did was by volume. Maybe that's why it never turned out. Maybe I should have been doing weight. No, I have some. Actually, I had some really nice. Someday I'm just gonna show some of the stuff I've done. Because back when I would do resin, I bet I started resin in my first and second year, like 2021, 2022. Yeah, I have a pressure pot. I actually have a vacuum pump and a pressure pot, but I got a few things. I have a bowl that's blue and apple, old apple wood, and it's dark apple. And I don't know how I did it so nice. Like the shape, the polish, everything. At that point in my wood turning career, I was not that good yet. This is nice not doing a live stream at lunch where I have a time limit. Guys, look at that. There's a little bit of a scuff up here I'm going to have to work out. The fingers aren't exactly polished. But this side, that's nice. That's nice. We might be done with this. It's a little slippery now. it's too polished. But this is really nice. Let me find a piece of wood here. Look at that. So I might, since the handle is only this long, when I sharpen this, I might take that blade down, take half the blade off. I might do that because there's no way I'm going to be cutting out here on the end. You lose all your leverage. Yeah, I might reshape that blade, which is a shame because my cap, nah, I can't do that. Because my cap goes all the way up there. Oh, we'll deal with it. That is really nice. Thank you, Todd, for sending me this blank. All right, I think that's going to do it because I need to let the cap cure overnight before I finish it. That is the cap. We'll make them match up. It's still a little sticky. We'll match those up, get it all working, polish the cap, and I'll post some pictures if I don't do another live stream. So there you go. That is so nice. Now it's all dusty. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for stopping in. As always, you have purpose, you have value, you are loved. God bless. Thanks for stopping in, everybody. Thanks, Todd, Lawrence, everybody who was in. I appreciate it. Check out the channel, subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Loved having you in, and we will see you later.